Imagine a world where energy flows freely through the air, invisible yet accessible, powering lives without wires. This vision isn't science fiction anymore thanks to one man's relentless pursuit of innovation. Maxwell Chikumbutso, a Zimbabwean inventor, has stepped into the spotlight with a game-changing wireless charging network that could redefine Africa's energy future. Born into a humble background, Maxwell defied odds and conventional education to become one of Africa's most inspiring inventors. His journey began in the dusty neighborhoods of Harare, where the frequent power outages became a source of both frustration and motivation. From a young age, he envisioned an Africa where power didn't mean dependence on failing grids or noisy generators. He believed in an energy system that was sustainable, clean, and most importantly, accessible to everyone. This dream laid the foundation for what would eventually become the wireless charging network now beginning to power villages and cities across the continent. While the rest of the world focused on solar panels and wind turbines, Maxwell asked a different question. What if energy didn't need cables at all? His research led him into electromagnetism, radio frequencies, and non-radiative energy transfer principles, technologies largely ignored by mainstream developers. Over the years, he built prototype after prototype, often using salvaged electronics and self-made components. Facing skepticism, limited funding, and resistance from traditional energy stakeholders, Maxwell pressed forward with unshakable faith. His breakthrough came when he successfully powered a small building wirelessly, using a system that emitted no radiation and posed no harm to human health. The news spread quickly through local communities, generating both hope and disbelief. Government officials, scientists, and tech enthusiasts began visiting his lab, eager to see if the rumors were true. What they witnessed stunned them: lights turning on without wires, fans spinning, TVs running, all powered invisibly through the air. Soon, word spread beyond Zimbabwe, reaching energy-hungry nations across the continent. Africa, long burdened by rolling blackouts and underdeveloped power grids, began to see a glimmer of a different kind of future. Maxwell's network isn't just about powering homes, it's about rewriting the rules of energy distribution entirely. The brilliance of his system lies in its scalability. From powering a single home to electrifying entire neighborhoods, the tech adapts effortlessly. Each wireless charging hub can cover a radius of several kilometers, transmitting clean, continuous power with no physical connections. The hubs draw energy from self-sustaining sources, including solar-boosted battery arrays and magnetic resonance amplifiers. No cables, no maintenance-heavy infrastructure, no dependence on national grids. This allows remote villages, which once waited decades for electrification, to become power-positive zones overnight. In Malawi, for instance, a small town that relied on kerosene lamps now boasts 24-hour lighting, functioning fridges, and internet-connected schools. In Nigeria, a remote agricultural cooperative uses Maxwell's system to power water pumps, cold storage, and processing machinery. The impact on productivity and income has been staggering. Local residents speak of their children studying at night, businesses operating beyond daylight hours, and health centers running diagnostic equipment. The most astonishing aspect is the cost, nearly zero after installation, since the network runs on sustainable sources and requires minimal upkeep. Compared to diesel generators or unreliable state grids, the savings are massive. More importantly, Maxwell's system is democratizing power literally and figuratively. People who once felt left behind by their governments and foreign investors now take pride in being part of an African-born, African-built revolution. Community leaders say the sense of ownership and empowerment has never been higher. Unlike charity-driven energy projects, this solution doesn't create dependency, it fosters agency. Maxwell's model encourages local training and employment in system installation, maintenance, and expansion. This creates a cycle of knowledge transfer, skill development, and economic stimulation. The story of Maxwell's wireless network is not just technological, it's deeply human. It's about mothers who no longer fear childbirth in dark clinics. It's about students who can attend online classes and dream of careers in science. It's about farmers who can store their harvests, fetch water without manual labor, and connect to regional markets. The implications go far beyond the home. Entire sectors are beginning to transform in regions touched by Maxwell's wireless charging infrastructure. Transportation is an early benefactor, with electric motorcycles, tuk-tuks, and even buses drawing charge without wires. In Ghana, wireless charging pads embedded in roads power cargo trucks during loading stops, cutting delivery costs and delays. In Ethiopia, mini wireless stations at bus terminals allow EV commuters to recharge while waiting. The potential to reduce carbon emissions is significant. As Africa grapples with climate change, Maxwell's solution aligns perfectly with environmental goals. By eliminating fossil fuel reliance, communities reduce both carbon output and toxic air pollution. Children grow up without breathing diesel fumes. Rivers stay cleaner without oil runoff. Forests are preserved because families no longer need firewood for basic lighting. In places like Kenya's Rift Valley, entire green zones have emerged as wireless tech replaces charcoal. Even wildlife has been indirectly impacted as fewer trees are cut down in protected areas. This convergence of clean technology and environmental preservation makes Maxwell's innovation not just useful, but urgent. Policymakers are beginning to take notice.
Several African governments are drafting national strategies to integrate wireless power into energy development plans. International organizations are partnering with Maxwell to study the long-term feasibility and exportability of the model. In Rwanda, a pilot project has been launched to test city-scale wireless power grids.
In South Africa, universities are offering scholarships to study Maxwell's technology and enhance it further. The academic world is slowly validating what Maxwell built in solitude. Researchers from MIT, Stanford, and Tsinghua have published papers supporting the principles behind his wireless network. Some call it a leapfrog moment for Africa. Just as the continent skipped landlines and embraced mobile phones, it may now skip legacy grids and go straight to wireless energy. This shift could turn Africa from a consumer of energy innovations into a leader in clean power. The global implications are staggering. Countries in Asia, Latin America, and even parts of Europe are now expressing interest. But for Maxwell, Africa remains the priority. He wants to see a continent where every child has access to light, every hospital has running equipment, and every business has reliable power. His ultimate goal is to connect all 54 African nations through a decentralized wireless grid. Such a network could eliminate blackouts, lower national energy costs, and empower trade. Border towns could share energy seamlessly. Maxwell sees a future where energy is as available as air. In this future, innovation doesn't stop at power, it begins with it. With electricity available everywhere, entrepreneurs can launch digital businesses in the most remote corners of the continent. Telemedicine, remote education, and AI-based agriculture can thrive. Africa's technological revolution, once stalled by darkness, can now surge forward. And at the center of it all is one man with a vision that refused to die. Maxwell doesn't see himself as a hero. He often says, "I'm just a messenger for the energy God gave us all." But to the millions now charging devices, powering homes, and dreaming bigger, he is much more. He is a symbol of what's possible when innovation meets purpose. He is proof that the future doesn't have to arrive from the West. It can rise from within. It can rise from Africa. And it already is. As Maxwell's wireless charging network continues to expand, its reach is beginning to reshape Africa's economic landscape in profound ways. In regions where electricity once meant opportunity only for the privileged, access is now universal. Micro-businesses are emerging at an unprecedented pace, powered by energy that never existed for them before. A tailor in a remote Zambian town now runs 3 sewing machines at once, completing orders faster and employing 2 more people. A barber in rural Uganda offers electric haircuts and phone charging services, increasing his daily earnings 5-fold. A group of women in Senegal formed a cooperative to produce shea butter using electrically powered mixers and grinders. These are not isolated stories, they represent the early wave of a broad entrepreneurial awakening.
Wireless energy is reducing the cost and complexity of starting a business, especially in off-grid locations. It is also allowing small ventures to scale without the traditional barriers tied to energy infrastructure. Once businesses have reliable power, they can begin digitizing their operations, integrating mobile payments, cloud services, and digital marketing. Even traditional sectors like farming are undergoing transformation through Maxwell's network. In Cameroon, farmers use electric irrigation systems powered wirelessly to water crops more efficiently. In Tanzania, solar-linked wireless nodes energize cold rooms where produce can be stored, reducing spoilage. These simple changes double or triple crop value, connecting farmers to new markets. The chain reaction is remarkable. Energy enables production, production enables income, and income fuels education, healthcare, and reinvestment.
In many cases, communities that once depended on aid are now exporting goods. It moved from survival to surplus, and it all began with electricity floating through the air. The industrial impact is equally significant. In parts of Kenya's Central Highlands, wireless-powered fabrication centers are beginning to operate with low environmental impact. These microfactories use lightweight electric machinery powered by Maxwell's grid to make tools, repair equipment, and process materials. Larger manufacturing hubs are now being designed with wireless power integration in mind. The low maintenance cost and modular design of Maxwell's hubs make them ideal for industrial parks in underdeveloped zones. Energy-intensive operations that once needed diesel plants can now run cleanly, quietly, and sustainably. Transport logistics is another frontier seeing real disruption. As Africa begins adopting electric transport, wireless charging stations are reducing the need for plug-in infrastructure. Taxi cooperatives in cities like Lusaka and Accra are piloting fleets of EVs that recharge wirelessly during breaks. Delivery companies are embedding small induction pads into loading docks for trucks to top up power while idle. Public buses in Kigali now use pad-based wireless charging stations placed at major stops. This model reduces downtime, simplifies fleet management, and lowers maintenance costs. The key to this transport revolution is simplicity. No plugs, no cables, just contactless energy transfer. Energy usage in ports, warehouses, and border checkpoints can now be streamlined with wireless nodes covering loading zones. It's not just about energy, it's about optimizing movement, reducing delays, and modernizing entire systems. And with all of this comes jobs, lots of them. Maxwell's network has already created thousands of employment opportunities in training, installation, and technical support. Young people are being trained as wireless energy technicians, a job title that didn't exist 5 years ago. Local colleges and polytechnic institutes are integrating Maxwell's technology into their curriculum. These programs are designed not only to teach usage, but to spur innovation and local adaptation. Communities aren't just receiving tech, they're co-creating it. Innovators in Botswana have modified the hubs to serve as energy beacons for rural drones. In Mozambique, engineers are experimenting with mobile charging units for fishing villages. This ability to evolve locally makes Maxwell's system more resilient than traditional top-down infrastructure. The energy isn't static, and neither is the community. This decentralization of power, both electric and social, is key to the movement's sustainability. By avoiding the traps of centralized grids, which often fail under political mismanagement, Maxwell's model empowers people from the ground up. It is open, adaptive, and community-centered. At its heart is a philosophy: energy should not just be available, it should be free of exploitation, inequality, and bureaucracy. This philosophy extends into the system's design, which emphasizes affordability and equity. Maxwell has vowed never to patent the core components of his wireless charging network. Instead, he offers open technical frameworks to approved communities, NGOs, and governments. Licensing is free for non-commercial community use and subsidized for larger partners. This decision was controversial but principled. Maxwell believes access to power is a human right. He often says energy should empower people, not profit from their poverty. His position has earned him both praise and resistance. Traditional energy firms and corporate investors are hesitant, fearing disruption to their business models. Maxwell, however, has no interest in monopolies. He invites competitors to improve the system, adapt it, and spread it. This open-source approach is a radical break from the norm in energy innovation. It ensures no single entity can exploit or hoard the technology. It also encourages diversity of implementation. What works in Zambia might be redesigned entirely for Egypt or Lesotho. In desert regions, hubs use wind-assisted cooling and dust-repellent surfaces. In tropical forests, mesh networks allow electricity to travel between trees fitted with embedded receivers. The adaptability is endless thanks to the system's modular core. Each hub acts as both a generator and transmitter, capable of storing, converting, and broadcasting energy. Receivers, whether household units or industrial collectors, decode the frequency and draw power safely. There are no sparks, no harmful emissions, and no line-of-sight limitations. The transmission uses frequency patterns that are biologically safe and tuned to avoid interference. This allows homes and hospitals to install receivers inside walls, floors, or even furniture. Appliances equipped with Maxwell's mini adapters can draw power directly from the ambient air. Some households report using 10 or more devices at once with no physical wires running anywhere. The silence, cleanliness, and elegance of the setup impress even the most skeptical observers. In major urban slums, wireless electricity is replacing illegal wiring systems that once caused deadly fires. Children now play without the risk of exposed cables. Women feel safer walking home on well-lit streets. Street vendors operate late into the night under bright, wireless-powered lamps. It's not just infrastructure that's changing, it's confidence. It's the feeling of dignity, of no longer being second-tier citizens in a global energy hierarchy. There's something transformative about lighting a home with power invented by a man from your own continent. It creates a cycle of pride and innovation. Local inventors inspired by Maxwell are now experimenting with wireless-powered cooktops, fans, and even medical diagnostic kits. Educational institutions have launched hackathons focused solely on applications for the charging network. Some students in Morocco built a prototype for a wirelessly powered community fridge to store free food donations. Others in Namibia developed a system for solar to wireless energy redistribution between homes. Every new project adds another node to the growing ecosystem of African-led energy innovation. The possibilities continue to multiply. Some experts now believe that wireless energy could help reduce regional conflicts caused by competition for energy resources. Communities that once fought over generator fuel or grid access are now cooperating to expand Maxwell's hubs. Energy no longer divides, it unites. This has not gone unnoticed by policymakers and global development leaders.
The African Union has recognized Maxwell's wireless network as a strategic priority for Pan-African development. Plans are underway to create an inter-country consortium to fund cross-border expansion. Global development banks are beginning to offer grants and low-interest loans specifically for Maxwell's system.
Private investors are showing renewed interest not in buying him out but in supporting local manufacturing of components. In Nigeria and Ghana, factories are being retooled to produce receivers and mini-hubs domestically. This supports local economies while reducing costs and delivery times. Maxwell insists that African supply chains must be part of the equation. He wants the wealth of innovation to remain in the continent. He frequently tells leaders, don't just import the future, build it. And increasingly they are listening. As Maxwell's system enters phase 2 of expansion, the focus is on linking major cities via a backbone of wireless energy corridors. This includes connecting universities, research parks, and hospitals into high-capacity energy loops. It will also allow rural hubs to share excess energy with larger centers and vice versa. These energy exchanges can happen seamlessly thanks to dynamic load balancing protocols in the hub software. Even in moments of overload, power can be rerouted, prioritized, or stored locally. Outages become virtually impossible in a mesh network of this design. Emergency response capabilities are also being enhanced. Mobile wireless hubs mounted on trucks or drones can be deployed during floods, droughts, or refugee crises. In Sudan, such hubs provided emergency power to a displaced camp, allowing for water filtration, cooking, and mobile communication. In Malawi, wireless power kept clinics running during a severe cholera outbreak. This resilience and responsiveness make the system not just revolutionary but essential. It is becoming the invisible infrastructure of Africa's rebirth. And all this was started by a man who once built prototypes with used parts and unwavering faith. Maxwell still works long hours in the lab, constantly refining the tech. He refuses to rest until every village, town, and city is lit up. He says, Africa's greatest resource isn't gold or oil, it's the minds of its people, once given light. And now, more minds than ever are being illuminated. The wireless charging network is more than technology, it's a signal that Africa can lead, create, and define its own destiny. It is power in every sense of the word. Power that lifts, power that heals, power that frees, power that connects.